How you guys doing today? Back at you guys with another presentation. Hope everybody's having an okay day. Happy Saturday. In this presentation, guys, I want to talk to you guys about here's what we're going to talk about. I was just thinking to myself, and I felt this would be a good topic. Other ethnic groups of women have higher standards for their men. You know, sisters don't have high standards for brothers. And that's one thing that's always irritated me. You got educated sisters who like street dudes. You know, they might be a doctor, might be educated, but they like street dudes. And, it's sad when you have your own ethnic group of women who have low standards for you as a brother. Sisters don't have high standards for brothers. When I have these types of conversations with my mother, it turns into a doggone argument. Because when I make these kind of arguments with my mother, she knows that what I'm saying is true, but she just don't want to own up to it because she's a coward. Just like most people are who don't like the truth. Sisters don't have high standards for brothers. But what irritates me about sisters is how they can get with a man of another race and they'll embrace him and have high standards for him. See, a man of another ethnicity, when he gets with a sister, he don't gotta be no thug. He ain't gotta be no gangster. He ain't gotta be a criminal. But you as a brother, when you get with a sister, they want you to be from the streets. They want you to have all this street cred. But they don't demand that same stuff from men of other ethnicities. That is the issue that I have. This is why I say, my buddy was telling me the other day, and it's so true. A lot of the issues I've had in my life, if I was a man of another race, I wouldn't have had these issues. I truly believe that. Because in the urban community, especially for a brother, being gangster, being hood, being a head busser, that's the standard for a brother. Being a criminal. That is the standard. A lot of sisters, they don't even like educated brothers. They don't like brothers who are intelligent, who go to school, who do things to better themselves. They don't like that. Sisters like you when you're ignorant, when you're from the projects, when you're selling dope, when you're a murderer, gang affiliated. And no other race or woman has low standards for their own men. This is absolutely disgusting. And this is what disgusts me. I'm realizing that all the hell I've been through in my life is because I'm a brother. If I was a man of any other ethnicity, I would have never had trouble getting pussy. I would have never had trouble banging some big buns from the back and busting my load all over the buns. I would have never had issues like this. But see, within our culture, the urban culture doesn't glorify nothing positive. If a sister had to choose between Future and a guy like Michael B. Jordan, who do you think sister gonna choose? They gonna choose a dude like Future, not a suburban brother like Michael B. Jordan. And I know women find Michael B. Jordan to be an attractive guy, but Michael B. Jordan don't have street cred. He's not a head buster. See, one thing I notice about sisters like brothers who from the streets. Sisters, they like brothers who street certified. They like gangsters. That's what sisters like. And I used to think it was just sisters that's from the projects. No, it's educated black sisters. It's educated sisters. They like street dudes too. And it's just disgusting when you look at other races and they have high standards for their men. They don't have low standards for their men. But in the urban community, the women have low standards for the men. It's sad, man. It really is sad. The only way, as a brother, you can be respected by your own women as a brother is to be from the streets, drink cough syrup, walk around with weapons, be a gang member, be tatted up, smoke weed every day. That's the only way a sister will respect you as a brother. If you intelligent, if you from the suburbs, if you wear a shirt and tie, if you talk like you got some sense, a sister won't respect you. And it's sad when you have sisters that demand, they will accept other men of other ethnicities the way that they are, but they won't accept their own men for the way that they are. This is the issue that I have with the culture. It's sad. Other ethnicities of women have high standards for their men, but sisters don't. Just like that presentation I made where I was talking about that Pop the Balloon show, and that sister said she couldn't be with that brother because he looked like he read books because of the way he was dressed. See, sisters, they don't want a brother that went to Harvard. They don't want a brother that was raised in the suburbs, a brother who just go to work every day, whether he's a mechanic, whether he's a heating and air technician. They want a brother to fit a certain narrative. And this is one thing I never liked about urban culture. As a brother, you got to be a gangster. If you're not a gangster, if you're not a criminal, you seen as soft. But when sisters get with white guys, they can just be intelligent and be who they are. That's sad when you got sisters that demand the worst from their own caliber of men. Why not raise the bar? Why not say, I don't want brothers like Future? Why not say, I want to be with somebody like Russell Wilson? Why not say, I want to be with somebody like Alfonso Ribeiro? You know who I'm talking about, the brother who played Carlton on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. These are the type of brothers you need to be choosing, not dudes that's tatted up with dreads, with gold in their mouth, smoking weed all day. But that's what sisters like. And you got educated sisters that like that. This is the one thing that's always pissed me off about the culture. And I realize all the hell I've been through in my life, if I was a man of another ethnicity, I'd have never went through this. I'd have never went through this. Because you got some sisters, they can't get with just a Russell Wilson. If they get with a dude who's reformed, he got to be a reformed street ninja. He got to be a dude who used to be a head buster, but he reformed himself. And now he walking the straight and narrow path. He can't be just a 100% straight-laced guy. And that's what's always irritated me about sisters. See, one thing about me, I could never relate to the urban culture. And I think that's why people think I'm slow, dumb, and crazy, because I could never relate to the urban culture. Because I was so sheltered growing up as a kid. I was raised pretty much to be an Oreo. I wasn't raised in the projects like most of these brothers. The only time I was exposed to hood people and street stuff was on BET. I saw it on a TV screen. I never was around those kinds of people growing up as a child. That's why I'm so disconnected from the culture. I can't relate to urban culture. I cannot. I can't relate to the mentality, I can't relate to the mentality. I can't relate to the mindset. I can't relate to none of that. And that's why a lot of brothers look at me like I'm retarded or slow or crazy, because I wasn't raised in South Central LA. I wasn't raised in the bricks. I wasn't raised what most brothers grow up around. I wasn't raised on the south side of Chicago. I wasn't raised in the hood, Bankhead, places like that, Bowen Homes. I wasn't raised in the trenches. I wasn't brought up like that. And I never felt like I really could relate to the culture. I still can't relate to the culture because I wasn't raised that way. But the thing that irritates me is how you got sisters, even educated ones, who have low standards for their own race of men. This is a problem here. This is a big problem. When you got sisters who have low standards for their own caliber of men, but they'll accept other men of other ethnicities the way that they are. That's a problem. You know, I was just thinking to myself, the only way a brother can be respected is if he from the hood and he a gangster. That's sad, man. This is the reason to why I'm seeing it more than ever. If I was a man of another ethnicity, if I was a man of another race, all the hell that I've been through in my life, I'd have never went through it. I'd have never went through this hell if I wasn't a brother. All the hell I've been through with women, I wouldn't have went through it as bad. I was thinking that to myself yesterday. All the hell I've been through, I wouldn't have caught it this bad if I was a man of another ethnicity. And I know there are some men that are ugly, that are not attractive to women. We know that. But to the maximum degree that I've experienced hell, if I was a man of another race, it wouldn't have been this bad. It's the urban culture. And see, I wasn't raised in the projects. I wasn't raised like that. This is why my life has been hell. Now, men of other ethnicities probably won't relate to this sermon that I'm giving on this Saturday morning. But brothers, y'all resonate with this. Y'all understand what I'm saying. If you're not from the hood, you're not going to be respected as a brother. If you're not a gangster, sister's not going to respect you as a brother. And it's so sad. But you guys leave your comments. Let me know what you guys think about this. Because everything that I'm saying, I know I'm not lying. I know I'm right about everything that I'm saying. If I was a man of another ethnicity, all this hell that I've been through, I would have never went through it. And I'm 100% certain of that. It's the culture that's the problem. Because I notice a lot of the guys that's in these positions are brothers. My buddy pointed that out to me as well. But you guys have a great Saturday. Happy Saturday. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.